And good morning. Today's topic is not as uplifting as the last, some of the ones that in more recent days. It's more educational in nature. And as I interact with people and read responses that are sent to me in various threads and emails and links on Facebook and YouTube, I realize that there's still a lot of people out there that just simply don't understand the system. So hopefully what I will share today will at least give you an inkling of where to look. The title is 2012, The Unlawfulness of Foreclosures. The greatest fraud in the history of the world is being exposed. Most people still do not get it because we have been conditioned to think money is what we are told it is. Everyone needs to see the videos, Money as Debt, which I have the link for. That does not reveal everything, but it is a good primer for those that would like to understand the insidiousness of the matrix monetary system that has enslaved most of humanity. Yesterday for me was an extremely busy day. As I had some friends come over and help me unravel our game plan and make a plan. One of the things that was very interesting to me is that the Brevard County Sheriff's Office was called. The Brevard County Court was called, the clerk of the court, not the Brevard County Sheriff's Department. I misspoke. And their inquiries were made to find out about the foreclosure. There's no foreclosure on record in the Brevard County court system. That's because there's never been a foreclosure in my particular case. And it's also interesting that when I actually called the headquarters of PNC Bank in Pittsburgh, they didn't have any record on file until they transferred it to the Ohio branch, which seems to work independently and have records that are separate from headquarters. Another interesting factor. But we also looked at some of the records that are recorded in the online in the Brevard County court system. And there's documents that seem to be there that I've never been privy to. Things that have gone on in this matter that they never bothered to notify me about. And there seems to be things that I have filed that aren't even recorded there, and yet I have another original. I always make two originals, and I have one of them. I have the original stamped by the court, and yet they're not entered into the record. So this is an extremely important and indicative thing of how the court system works, which is why I do not believe that some courts are even able to provide any sense of justice in matters relating, especially matters relating to mortgages and foreclosures. Again, I never had a mortgage on my property. There's never been a foreclosure hearing. There's never been a trial in the civil matter that they, against my consent, moved to probate. There's never been any lawful due process of law employed in this case. I have been denied my due process all along the way since I started representing myself and learning about the law. And yeah, I don't know it all yet. I'm still learning things. This morning I watched about 1/3 or maybe a little bit more than a third of the video about the Satori Farm eviction, which is on my Facebook page. It's in York, Pennsylvania, and yesterday was the day of eviction. and the sheriff's department came out there to change the locks on the doors. They arrested an 80-year-old woman, apparently, uh, who had the Bill of Rights pasted on her chest, uh, and they had her handcuffed. These are all things that I've seen in the past 24 hours. And my friends that were here to help me told of one of their friends in California that was just foreclosed upon and is evicted. I mean, they took possession of his property. Now, I don't know the details in all of these cases, but I want you to understand something really, really important about mortgages and therefore foreclosures. A mortgage is a loan of an asset or a promissory loan of an asset to the bank from the borrower. Everything in the matrix is turned around backwards. They make it appear as if the bank is actually lending someone money, but there's no consideration given to the mortgagee, the one who signs the mortgage. There's no consideration given. A receipt, the check that they may get, or the transfer of apparent funds that is received, is an illusion. It's a receipt for something that was already given that the borrower believes they have to pay back. But what they have done, the borrower has done, is given a negotiable instrument to the bank, which the bank then deposits in their account as an asset, and they bundle it with other mortgages into a bundle called mortgage-backed securities and other instruments, other debt instruments that are bundled as investment instruments, and they are sold and resold and resold and resold, and there's been a fraud going on in the financial realm that is astronomical, and people are waking up. In the United States, 50% of all mortgages are held by a company called MERS, the Merchant Electronic Recording System. The main U.S. bankruptcy court has just ruled that MERS has no standing to foreclose. That automatically eliminates 50% of all mortgages in the United States. $62 million mortgages is what I read at one point, I think last year or the year before, when this was first starting, when this bubble was first starting to pop and things were becoming clearer. Yet, even though there's been this information, most people still don't get the thing, and the courts are still operating as agents of the banks. Let me explain again. I've said this before, but a judge is not a judge. They sit with the black robes and pretend to be judges, but they're not. They are agents of the bank performing an administrative task. They are not operating, when they do that task, under their oath of office as a judge. And when they're operating in admiralty or maritime court, it's required that they be an officer of the military, because it's really martial law, folks. When you're operating in admiralty, you're not operating on the law of the land. The Constitution is the law of the land in the United States and in other nations as well. But they don't operate that way. They operate on the laws of the sea, and it's piracy. It's absolute piracy, sanctioned by the Vatican Bank, sanctioned by the City of London, enforced worldwide by military means, by threats and intimidation and coercion and deception. This is how the whole monetary system works. And people need to wake up, because it's not going to fully change until, and I actually think that there's already, the tipping point has been reached. Critical mass has been achieved. But there's still an awful lot of people that sit in ignorance and don't know. Someone asked me in one of the threads on one of the groups that I'm in, how can a $10 bid be more than 100 up to $90,000? As I had explained, that was the bid that was made that they sold my house, and they took the $100 bid and sold my house a week ago yesterday for $100. But I tried to bid $10 in silver coin. Silver coin, according to definition in the United States Constitution and stuff, is real money. It has to be backed by silver or gold or some precious commodity that has value in and of itself, intrinsic value. Now, again, even that is something that that is arbitrarily assigned. Nevertheless, that is how it is in the current records. And I'm not trying to create an argument with people that talk about we don't need money. Bear in mind that I'm building bridges from where we have been and are to where we are going. And it's not just get rid of money. It's not just get rid of corporations. We've got to start where we are and progress toward the changes. It's not a leap from here to there, which a lot of people try to make. And that just creates more separation and more confusion. It does not answer anything. There needs to be a progression of understanding and of comprehension so that we can realize and gain wisdom from the experience that we've created among ourselves collectively. When the banks and the courts look at it, they still are under the illusion that their system is what they have claimed it to be. That is, that they're in the business of lending money. They are not in the business of lending money. Banks are in the business and have been in the business of stealing people's creativity, labor, and making them think that they are giving them something in return for that, when in fact they're stealing from the people, making them pay back what's already been given. When you take out a mortgage and you produce a promissory note, that promissory note is legal tender. It is actual legal tender by definition within the system. It is a negotiable instrument, which means it has monetary value. I'm saying the same thing two different ways. It has value. When they move the laws, which they have done in many places, to allow photocopies of the negotiable instrument as if it was real, that is fraud. That is fraud, pure and simple. They have no lawful authority to make a photocopy of money, of a negotiable instrument, real. They have no authority to do that. That's counterfeiting. It's racketeering. It's absolutely unlawful by even the definitions within the codes as they exist, the United States Code and other codes, the Uniform Commercial Code, which is worldwide. I'm being used, as others are too, as sort of poster children to bring people's awareness to a level that we can actually demand and get change. The judges are operating unlawfully. The banks have always operated unlawfully. That it has been a scam from the get-go. From the get-go, the banks have been operating a scam, going way back, and that's why I encouraged you to get the video or watch the video "Money is Debt" if you haven't already seen it, or "The Story of Money," which is another really, really good one. There's lots of videos out there along this line, but people need to educate themselves so they understand that a $10 bid in real money is worth any amount of money in speculatory money or fiat money, because that isn't backed by anything except an illusion, a charade, a deception, actually. In a real sense, from a spiritual point of view, it's all even the gold-backed currency and stuff like that is a charade. I get that. I understand that. And then people are telling me, Ron, let go of your name. No, we operate as humans with a name. And it said that they entrap us because we use our name. They entrap us because we have allowed the system to operate as it's been operating, both financially, legally, and all of the other ways that we've been conducting ourselves as human beings and interacting with each other in the physical world. All of that is changing as CEOs. This month has been amazing, where CEOs of banks are resigning, even heads of state are resigning. There's so much happening because people are waking up and recognizing the unlawfulness not only of foreclosures, but of the entire financial game that we've been playing, and that has been playing upon us and enslaving all of humanity. So I share these things with you, and they're just my thoughts and ramblings on a very confusing subject for a lot of people, because we've been so brainwashed to think something is real that isn't, to believe something is true that's not. I hope that if you're really interested, you'll do further research. Excuse me. I felt that one coming on at least 30 seconds before I finally let it out. But do the research that's needed to do, and educate yourself so that you understand. Everybody needs to grasp this, because we're in the process of changing society for the good, for establishing a better way and building a bridge to a time when we don't need money at all, when everything virtually is at our command, because we will have taken back our power and our gifts and abilities, and we will be standing in truth and just living our lives in peace. But we're not there yet. So educate yourself so that you understand the process that we're going through of unraveling the old so that we can bring in the new. Thank you for listening. Namaste.